Welcome to the Holistic Career Change Podcast, one-stop shop for everyone feeling stuck in their career and who are looking to identify, change, and succeed at their new fulfilling work. I'm your host, Vilma. Let's go. Well, hello there. How have you all been? I'm doing good. I'm good now. It wasn't the case last week when I was ill all throughout the week. I had the worst food poisoning, you guys. The worst I've ever had in my life, fever and all. Hence no episode. I'm so sorry. I was literally tied to my bed and, to my bathroom because food poisoning is not pretty at all. And I still haven't found the culprit, though. I'm definitely going to get to the bottom of it. However, because I'm a huge fan of Louise Hay work and in general, just as I preach the holistic career change, I too apply the same holistic principles to essentially everything in my life, including my health. And that is, I do not interpret any symptom in isolation, but I usually review how this could be an integral part of the whole system. And in that sense, to me, every physical symptom is really, first and foremost, a consequence of an emotional, mental, or energetic imbalance. And what I have also found to be true in my life, at least, and I'm not imposing this view on anyone, by the way, but I'm just talking about my experience, which is that the meaning of certain physical symptoms, the symbology behind it is pretty straightforward usually. So for instance, if you find like you have very persistent cough, there's something usually that you're holding in, something that you're not admitting to, you're not speaking out, you're not saying it out loud, you're keeping it locked in, and then it starts to almost tear you up inside and is trying to get out through this cough. Or if you have this chronic back pain, and our back is our support system, the whole backbone is the core of our body. And what it means if we usually deal with a lot of back pain is that your current life situation has become too unstable. And this often also intensifies if we say we have financial instability, when we don't feel financially safe or just safe in general. That's when we often suffer from back pain. Now, digestion issues, what I was dealing with, and really anything to do with stomach, the whole digestion system has to do with us being able to process all that is happening around us. So if we find ourselves in this overwhelming, very fast-paced environments, whether physically a lot of things are happening or just even on an emotional plane where we feel like we are constantly being triggered and we're dealing with a lot of things and we constantly feel like we need to respond to something, when it becomes too much for us to process, we don't have enough space left to contain this chaos. We may often feel like we get sick after the meal or like we've eaten too much. And often people start purging because they simply can't handle this constant icky feeling anymore. That means that we cannot quite literally digest all that is being thrown at us. We're out of our inner resources. And that means we need to hold the horses, stop, rest, review. We need to remove either certain physical activities or tasks. We need to reduce the emotional triggers and make space for our system to rest and to rebalance, essentially. I feel like I am so digressing right now. So if you just tuned in and this is the first episode that you're listening to, don't worry. You're at the right place. I am going to get to the career change. But really what I usually do is also just share whatever realizations that I've been having in my own life. So anyway, just to wrap it up, my whole poisoning situation was pretty blatant in my face sign of me having taken on too much. For the last couple of weeks, I felt bothered. I was busy. I was spreading myself thin. I was not taking enough rest, etc., etc., etc. I just simply wasn't looking after myself in the way I usually do and the way I usually should. And listen, this is funny because I do have all the tools. I do have all the knowledge, but I don't always walk the talk. I too am prone to all of the human conditions everyone else is dealing with. And here you have it. every decision, every action will usually have a consequence, right? So that's what I had to deal with. So all of that to say that I took some time off. I unapologetically embraced my sloth mode. I rested, I ate healthy, I walked in nature, and I'm back rested and rejuvenated, and I've really, really missed you. So I'm very, very excited to be back. So, through all of this experience that I had this last week, it did make me tune into this more softer, more dreamy energy. And I feel like today's episode is really an extension of that. In the last episode that I released, we spoke about envisioning our life beyond a career change. And as you're either experiencing that now or you're about to experience it, shifting and transitioning into new work of meaning will inadvertently completely change essentially every other area of your life. It is a very impactful change. So in that last episode, I was inviting you to be deliberate and intentional and dream an authentic dream. I had also, by the way, added a worksheet for you to fill out to go along with the episode. So I really hope that you did this work and found some really interesting nuggets there. And please make sure to revisit this worksheet, because I feel like as you evolve, like I mentioned in the episode, the way you envision your dream life and your needs and wants, they're going to evolve together with you. Now, today, I'd like to build on that and take it one step further and give you another beautiful technique, which is one of my favorite techniques ever. And I probably say that about every tool that I give you, to be honest. And I'm just obsessed. Anyway, so this is called Connecting with Your Future Self. And it is an invaluable technique to use when you feel like you're lost or you need to make a decision or when you're really just lacking motivation. And I feel like this exercise, this technique, it really is going to help for those of you who are now in the process of getting answers on what's the next step, right? And if you haven't done this before, meeting your future self, if you haven't explored this work, I'm really, really excited for you to try it out. So what I'll do, I'll just first introduce you to the concept really briefly, and then I'm going to walk you through a short meditation, around 10 minutes. And I can't stress this enough. Please give yourself the gift of actually stopping and going through it, because the actual juiciness, the actual results that you're going to get is not from listening, but it's actually from engaging and allowing yourself to connect to that version of you in the future where all the peace, the wisdom, and insights live. And not only do they live there in the future, but they also come from the most trustful, from the most loving source, which is yourself. So when you think about it, we often really just view ourselves in the future as essentially strangers. We really rarely take the time to build that connection with ourselves in the future. We don't have our future selves' backs. We often don't do the work today, this week, and, we push it to tomorrow, we push it to next week, pretending as if tomorrow we will become this new person, the superwoman who will just do everything that our today's self can't be bothered to do. Have you noticed yourself do that? I know I do that, still do that to this day. Hey, well, I'm just going to eat this burger and I don't know, double order of fries because I deserve it. But like tomorrow, I'm going to eat clean and mean and I will survive on this arugula diet or whatever it is that we promise ourselves, the blatant lies that we feed ourselves. And we completely disconnect from the fact that tomorrow it's still going to be us who'll have to do it, right? So we seek for that instant gratification and we refuse to work for our future self to build our futures, right? And it's just a human condition. I'm not here to call you out. We all do that. And what happens, we just simply get completely disassociated. And when we do this, it's just us setting ourselves up for failure and using our future selves against ourselves. There's even scientific evidence of this disconnection. I've read about this research that the scientists from Stanford University did, where they used the fMRI scans to research participants' brains to compare neural patterns when they think about themselves in the future. And it's fascinating what they found, which is that the neurological patterns were similar to those patterns formed when thinking about another person, for instance, a celebrity, instead of resembling the neurological patterns formed when thinking about their current self. So from that perspective of the brain, the future self was seen as a completely different person. There was a complete disassociation from the future self. And, those participants really, the ones that had the widest variance between their view of the present and the future self were also the least likely to defer immediate gratification for these future rewards. These are the people for whom, for instance, procrastination can be a very serious problem. So the bigger the disconnection between your current self and the future self, the less likely you're going to do things for the long-term benefit. And it really makes sense that it is difficult to take action today for some future version of yourself that you don't even feel connected to. It makes perfect sense. This disconnection, however, could affect our financial situation. Like, for instance, we could refuse to save up for the retirement, as that just feels like such a distant, faraway future. Like I mentioned, it could affect our health, like us promising that we'll start exercising and eating healthier tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes, but your brain is still not connected to the future version of yourself. And instead of starting that diet, you have that piece of cake, or you take a nap instead of a walk. It affects our self-improvement. It affects our career change process. Because then we just push everything forward, be like, okay, I'll do that research tomorrow. I'll work on my resume tomorrow. I'll think about what my dream day looks like tomorrow. I'm not going to do it now. It also has severe effects on substance abuse. I know that people who suffer from substance abuse also have these severe case of disconnection between who they are today and who they think they're going to be tomorrow, right? But today's not about that. Today is all about the connection in this podcast, but I just wanted to take a moment to show you just how much this disconnection could fuck up our lives, for the lack of better words. So what I'd like to invite you to do today is to imagine your future self as this exalted version of yourself. Wise, calm, loving, confident, having this 2020 vision of your current life circumstances and your future, and having that vision without fears, without limitation, and as someone who has learned and incorporated the life lessons. That version of you is so juicy. You want to be friends with that version of you. I promise you want to connect with that version. Now, you can do this connection exercise daily. You can use this connection method when you feel like you need to make certain decisions in life, or simply when you need clarity. I think it just works for really any life situation. And maybe at first you will find like you will need to use this meditation I'm going to share with you, or maybe stepping into this energy of your future self is going to be completely effortless and you won't even need to use this meditation every time. Now, to give you a better idea and context, I can share how I use this technique. And I can tell you that I personally love to step into the energy of my future self almost daily. Out of all of the practices and techniques that I do, and let me tell you, I test out everything on myself before I share it with you guys or before I share it with my clients, this is the most luxurious and sexy and just juicy and abundant technique that I've ever tried on. It's my favorite thing ever. And like I said, I use it daily, but this is just me. This is what works for me. So feel free to be playful and explore what would be the most effective for you. So what I do is I have my morning coffee with my future self, with my future Vilma. Okay. Now here I am, risking to sound crazy again, but hey ho, it's my podcast. I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do and say whatever I want to say, okay? So I have morning coffee with my future self. This is usually when it's quiet, when there's a lot of peace, when everyone else is still sleeping. This is my time with future Vilma. So we sit together and we converse. I ask questions, I get answers, we laugh, or sometimes I just sit in that energy of future Vilma, because future Vilma, let me tell you, is hella cool. So much cooler than me. Oh my God. She's calm. She's a little sassy. She's completely unapologetic about being herself, being completely authentic, yet still very respectful and very empathic. She's not cocky, right? But she has this healthy confidence about her, and she's very wise. And like I said, she just has this overview of my life and the universe and the concepts and the universal laws and all of that, that she can give me the best advice sometimes, right? And I tune into her when I'm even like in these really trivial situations, like for instance, sometimes when I'm choosing the outfit for the day, because for me, it's the whole ritual, the way I prepare for my day, where I will, really play with colors when I, do my makeup, and I will really tune in and ask myself what I want to wear today. Like today I'm wearing this flowy feminine dress, whereas for the 2 days before I was running around in ripped jeans because that's what I felt like. I had this childish energy in me, right? So sometimes I even tune into future Vilma when I choose my outfits. She has great taste, by the way. And one thing that really cracks me up for some random reason, and I'm sure you'll find that those quirks about your future self, like for some random reason, my future self loves luxurious lingerie. Like she just loves, like the amount of money I've invested in lingerie ever since I connected to future Vilma is ridiculous. But you know what I learned? That she had a point, because when I wear this lingerie, I feel grounded for some reason. I feel feminine. I feel sexy, right? I feel content. I feel enough. I'm less needy then. So it's just the weirdest thing. Like the advice that you will get is just going to blow your mind, right? And also future Vilma is very good with boundaries, which is something that myself as an empath in my current state, I still sometimes struggle with, right? Because you want to be there for everyone and you have an open energy field and you just want to help and heal everyone. But Vilma, she's very clear on, the future Vilma is very clear on her energetic resources. And again, part of the reason why I got ill this last week was because I was just not making time to renew my resources, thinking that they're limitless. They're not. There's just a certain amount of energy and emotional energy that we have available for us each day. And when we overstretch day in and day out, our system is going to break. And the first one to show is going to be our body, right? So it all makes sense. So I personally, at this point in time, I have this connection with my future self, which is a little weird like me, but I adore my future self. And this is why I really wanted to share this exercise with you and ask you, what is your future self like? What does it feel like to be connected with this authentic, clear, wise, mature self of yourself who lives in harmony with their values? And this meditation I'm going to share with you here is going to help you cut through that mental chatter, that mental aggressor, and just get right to the core. So the meditation is going to take around 10 to 12 minutes, maybe less. We'll see how it goes. What I want to ask you to have nearby you is a pen and paper, or at least your phone. And as per usual, try to find a quiet place where you are not interrupted, as, this is going to be a mini journey within, okay? And during this meditation, I will ask you some questions, and I'd like you to listen in intently for answers internally, but don't force it. as per usual, when we do these kind of exercises, just go with whatever comes. Don't allow your brain to attack it, to question it, to tell you that you're making it up, to tell you that it makes no sense. When you really ground in that energy, you will just get so much insight and advice. Don't close it off. Don't shut it off by attacking it. Just let it come. So whatever answers that you get, just note them down. Or you can just go through this meditation and write them down when you're finished. And I will be silent in certain moments when I ask you questions so you could really hear yourself better. Okay, good. I'm very excited. So I want you to get comfortable. I want you to relax. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to take a few very deep breaths. Ideally, breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your mouth. Now I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to imagine that you have chosen to go out walking alone in a beautiful area of countryside. It's a lovely day. There are a few soft white clouds floating in the blue sky. And you're walking down a footpath along a valley between two hills, which are covered with grass and these beautiful, colorful meadow flowers. You can feel the soft grass under your feet, and you can feel this warm, gentle breeze playing on your face. You smell the air, and you can even smell the scent of meadow flowers filling the air. There's a narrow river flowing in a dip alongside you, flowing in the direction that you are walking in. You come upon some steps that lead down to the river's edge, and you follow them down so you can walk beside the river. You're walking along, no hurry at all. You're just drinking in the sights, sounds of this beautiful day, just feeling completely relaxed and at peace with the world. As you follow the path around a gentle bend, you notice there's someone ahead of you. She's smiling in your direction and waving at you. You instantly feel drawn to go and meet her, and you begin to sense something wonderful is about to happen. As you approach her, you see that this person is yourself in the future. You know this because you recognize yourself, and you also recognize an air of wisdom and contentment around her. You recognize that this is you in your most powerful self. Your future self greets you, and you greet her as an old friend. There is so much peace around you too, and you can feel this warmth in your heart. You feel immediately at ease with this person. By the edge of the river, there's a large stone. You and your future self sit together for a while. Just sitting there next to her, you're uplifted by her aura of peace and wisdom. You feel a strong connection with this person, and you know that this is you, your best self, the person you can be when you allow yourself to be. Now, take a moment to ask your future self some questions. You may not get an answer to all of your questions, and that is totally okay. The answer may come to you later. It may come to you in a dream. Maybe it will never come, and that too is okay. ask your future self, what guidance can you give me to help me get from where I am now to where you are? And then listen to the answer. Then ask her, what is the next step on my journey? What do I need to learn or do before I can move ahead? Now ask, what do I need to let go of now in order to move forward? Then ask her, what strengths or resources will I need to get to where you are? Next, ask her, what is my true purpose in life? What am I here to contribute? Now take a few moments to ask your powerful self any other questions you have for her. Now take a moment to really drink in the qualities of your most powerful self. Feel your connection with those qualities as you sit there, knowing that they have always existed within you and are in you right now. Just before you leave, your future self may give you a gift, something that symbolizes your connection with her. It may be wrapped in fine paper. If she does give you a gift, unwrap it now and see what it is. Now thank your powerful future self and take your leave of her, knowing that you can return to this place at any time to ask for guidance or strength. This is your most powerful self, yourself, a part of you. You are now aware that you carry within you this powerful self and that it is available to you at all times. So now continue along the path and follow it back to your room, to the present day. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Do what you need to do to bring yourself fully back to the present. Have a stretch, walk around, take a drink. Then take a few moments to jot down what you learned from your future self. I want you to note what was your overall impression of your future self. What guidance did she give you? What did she tell you that you need to do in order to get from where you are now to where she is? What did she tell you the next step on your journey is? What did she say you need to learn or do before you can move ahead? What do you need to let go of now? What resources or strengths did your future self say you will need to get to where she is? What did she tell you about your true purpose in life? What did she tell you about your contribution? What did you ask her when you were given the space to chat to her? If there was a gift that she gave you, what gift did she give you? What do you think it symbolizes? And as a love homework, as a love work, I want you to try to think of what, in general, the essence of your future self is, and summarize her in a few sentences. That you could then go to those sentences in the times where you need her strength, you need her abundance and her calm and wisdom. You can even take a step further and ask yourself if there is a symbol, a metaphor that could represent this powerful future self of yours. Is it a bird? Is it an animal? Could it be a peacock, a crow? Could it be a witch? Could it be a lioness? If there was a symbol that could beautifully encompass all of the energy that you experience, what could it be? Because, by the way, if you don't get it, don't force it. For some of you, the symbol will just leap out. For some of you, won't. But if you do see a symbol, make sure that you incorporate it in some ways into your daily life. Please don't forget to share with me what you experienced on this journey. And as per usual, I'm wishing you a fun week, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you shortly. Bye. Thank you for spending time with me today. If you're finding this content valuable, please subscribe and leave a review. And if you'd like to take this work further, schedule your first call so we could mastermind together on how to get your career and your life back on track. Can't wait to meet you.